This is where everything changes. In issue 7, it suddenly starts talking about and referencing previous events that happened in the IDW verse, starting off with Sunstreaker's ordeal as a headmaster. And this leads to some interesting characterization with Sunstreaker. Now, admittedly, Sunstreaker was never my favourite person. He was one of those who was just there. You know, you never really liked him, you never really disliked him, he was just there. But the way he's been written in here, oh, I felt sorry for him. I really did feel sorry for poor little Sunstreaker with dealing with the after effects of what he went through in the Asian series. And of course, it also starts giving backstory about how the Autobots were so soundly defeated and the origins of the Insecticons, which leads to a continuity error with Spotlight Blaster. And basically, everything starts piling on top for both factions. The Autobots do a last-ditch attempt to resurrect Prime, while billions of Insecticons come swarming at the gates. And this, which ultimately results in the perfect ending for Sunstreaker's character arc. I mean, it's just so beautifully done. He comes to the realization that this war that he'd been fighting for so long has destroyed his personality, corrupted him beyond belief. The only way he can escape this and go back to the way he was is to kill himself. And it's just absolutely beautiful. The artwork for that scene as well. Now, the most interesting part of this book is with the Decepticons, and rightly so, as it is a Decepticon-focused story. Basically, Starscream gathers together a bunch of soldiers, decides Megatron has lost his way, and is just stalling for time because, in Starscream's words, the biggest mistake Megatron could have made was winning. The troops are now directionless. They have nothing to do. And this brings up an interesting point with Megatron, where he says he's going on about how he had to create this army to conquer a planet. But then, when the Autobots rose up, that army had to be fashioned into one that would win no matter the cost. And once he had taken Cybertron, then he would destroy the Decepticons and recreate them in the original image. Anyway, Starscream bands together a bunch of troops and takes on Megatron, claiming he's been stalling and lost his way. Megatron then responds with the fact that he was actually waiting for this moment in time. And then Starscream sets the Constructicons off to try and destroy Megatron in a beautiful little panel there. There's no faulting the art in this, except for a little bit of art in issue 9 when they're on Earth. The art there suddenly goes all flat and there. Clearly it isn't done by Guido and the guy who usually does it. And it can be a little jarring, but on the whole the art is rather good. But anyway, Megatron is basically telling Starscream that he needs. Nothing escapes Megatron's fury. And while a beautiful shot like this is going on, of the final, the last stand of the Americans, because the rest, it's not the last stand of the humans, because the humans are just going to nuke the city and kill everyone. But the last stand of and there you have good old devastated. This is a terrible review. Devastating everything. And then, while this is going on, Megatron is preaching to Starscream and all that. The Autobots turn up. They have a big massive fight. And during this conflict, on 2 pages, it's not done. It's not done. I don't know who does these pages, but the art style for these 2 pages is different. And it just fits the scene perfectly, where Megatron tells Starscream that the leadership of the Decepticons can never be just given by chance. It has to be taken. It is the only way leadership passes from one to the other. And Megatron knows Starscream will lead the Decepticons. But that day is not today. Which ends with Starscream taking charge of the forces under Megatron's command with a cry of "All hail Megatron!" And this scene is just absolutely fantastic. It's a dynamic of the Megatron-Starscream relationship we've never seen before. It's just, it's absolutely. Why people have been slagging this series off, I don't know, because Volume 2 is absolutely fantastic. Definitely read this in paperback. It gets a major recommendation by me.